السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. الله.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه ومن والاه. أما بعد فأعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. فأما من طغى وآثر الحياة الدنيا فإن الجحيم هي المأوى وأما من خاف مقام ربه ونهى النفس عن الهوى فإن الجنة هي المأوى. صدق الله العظيم. Tonight we commence the 30th juz of the Quran in Salat al-Taraweeh, and inshallah we'll be completing more than half of the juz. So tomorrow night we have a lighter load, inshallah. And there were some very important surahs recited tonight, and the general theme in most of these surahs is the Day of Judgment, since most of these surahs that are being recited are Makkan surahs, and the theme of Makkan surahs generally is Tawheed and also Akhirah. So there are a few contrasts that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala makes in few of these surahs. For example, in Surah Al-Nazi'at, Allah says, فأما من طغى وآثر الحياة الدنيا فإن الجحيم هي المأوى وأما من خاف مقام ربه ونهى النفس عن الهوى فإن الجنة هي المأوى. Allah is making a contrast between the one who rebels and follows his desires versus the one who fears accountability in front of Allah. And then we go to Surah Inshiqaq. Allah Ta'ala makes another contrast between those who receive their book in the right hand and those who receive their book in the left hand. And in Surah Al-Layl, Allah Ta'ala makes another contrast. فَأَمَّا مَنْ أَعْطَى وَاتَّقَى وَصَدَّقَ بِالْحُسْنَى فَسَنُيَسِّرُهُ لِلْيُسْرَى versus وَأَمَّا مَنْ بَخِلَ وَاسْتَغْنَى وَكَذَّبَ بِالْحُسْنَى فَسَنُيَسِّرُهُ لِلْعُسْرَى. And then Allah makes a contrast between ashqa and atqa, the one who is unfortunate versus the one who is God-fearing. So the general theme in these surahs is to invite man to reflect upon these two realities and two contrasts. Man is given a choice. Allah has given him guidance. وَهَدَيْنَاهُ النَّجْدَيْنِ. Allah has guided us and shown us both paths. Then it's up to us to use our intelligence and of course with Allah's assistance, His enabling and His guidance to make the right choice for ourselves. Besides these surahs, and also there's some very juicy themes in Wailul lil-Mutaffifin as well, I just wanted to share probably some advice that is more practical for all of us, and it's continuing from what we were discussing yesterday or the day before that from the advice of Luqman alayhi salatu wasalam. And I wanted to share 6 tips or 6 pieces of advice to make our house a home. Right? To make our house a home. And I think that this is very relevant for most of us here, especially for myself as well. And this advice was taken from a speech delivered by my sheikh and my teacher that visited us in 2011, Sheikh Salim. And I think it's valuable for all of us, inshallah, very relevant. The first thing is, how can we make our house a home? So many of us are house owners, or we own houses, but we haven't really established a home yet. And many a times we're extremely busy and indulge in our lives and trying to earn for our kids and to provide a good life for them and a comfortable and luxurious life for them. And we tend to miss out on their upbringing. We tend to miss out on them growing up. And we always think about tomorrow. And we think tomorrow will come, inshallah, I'll spend more time with them tomorrow. I'll spend more time with them next week. I'll spend more time with them in the summer. The holidays are coming up, inshallah, I'll be okay then. And I'll make up for all that lost time. And the reality is that today is a gift and tomorrow is a myth. Have you heard that saying before? Today is a gift, tomorrow is a myth. Tomorrow never really comes. We just keep procrastinating and procrastinating, and before you know it, your child is grown up. And each second we miss of their life, we then regret it later on. And we can't bring it back. So how can we make our house a home? We begin first and foremost by understanding the concept of huquq and rights. That Allah has given rights to the husband, Allah has given rights to the wife, Allah has given rights to children. And we have to understand that we are required by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to fulfill those rights. And those rights are the bare minimum that we must do. And if every individual has the understanding that I shall go above and beyond to fulfill the rights of the other, then everybody's rights will be fulfilled. If we don't have many expectations and we try to fulfill the other person's rights, everybody will be fulfilling everyone's rights. And of course, rights is one thing, but going above and beyond is another. Going above and beyond is another. If we were living life by rights alone and rules, right? So whenever we talk about rights, some people say, you know your rights, but you don't know your wrongs. Okay. So some of us have rights and we have wrongs as well, subhanAllah. May Allah correct our wrongs. So if we were living our life just by the rights, which is qawa'id, qanoon, life gets boring. So you have to go above and beyond. There has to be rawabit. There has to be something extra that will combine the hearts and connect the hearts. But understanding fundamentally that Allah has given rights, that's a very important thing. And that we will be questionable in front of Allah in the fulfillment of those rights. And if there is neglect, we have to seek forgiveness from that individual. This should hold us accountable. So fulfilling the rights of spouses, each other, and also fulfilling the rights of the children, that's a workshop in itself. I can't go into much more detail. The second thing that we have to do to establish a home is salah. Salah is absolutely essential. If you can make it to the masjid, that is better. Otherwise, we have to establish salah in our homes. Which means that as soon as salah time arrives, the adhan must be heard in the house. People need to be preparing for their salah. Everyone should be focused on the same thing. Have a specific place in the home where everybody congregates together. Not just, oh, you pray your salah in your room and you pray your salah. Have you prayed your salah? Yeah, I've prayed my salah. Kids go, lock themselves in the room, say, yeah, I've prayed my salah. They come out and say they've prayed their salah. If we all collectively pray our salah together, there's going to be love there as well, inshallah. And it's a time to bond with our children. Bonding with your children doesn't necessarily mean you have to be watching a movie together. Right? You could be praying salah together as well, inshallah. And that is also bonding. The third thing is to establish an Islamic environment. And to do that, and this is the month of change. If we start these practices now, inshallah, we can maintain them. We can hold ourselves accountable by next Ramadan. We can say, okay, well, we made that change this Ramadan. Next Ramadan rolls around the corner. We think, alhamdulillah, we're still maintaining that habit. That's a great thing. Or then we can identify where we fell short or where we were neglectful and then try and make up for it and then try and add to it. So establishing an Islamic environment first by starting ta'aleem in the house. Any Islamic book, maybe it's a book of stories of Sahaba, stories of Anbiya alayhimus salawat wa taslim. There are so many books available today, Riyadh al-Salihin. One of those books, take them out, read them for 5 minutes. In fact, there's a beautiful book for children. I think I mentioned it last time when I was visiting. The Ihya Ulum of Imam Ghazali's, but it's been simplified for children. It's fantastic. Absolutely wonderful. And it's going to really appeal to your children's intelligence as well. And it's going to make them think deeper. The questions that they ask in that book and the contents that are covered. And it answers a lot of questions that our children have regarding Allah's existence and good and evil and so on and so forth. So this is a very good book, inshallah, for you to try and incorporate into your daily ta'aleem with your families. The fourth one is keep shaitan out of the house. Now, how do we keep shaitan out of the house? There's a hadith in Mishkat. Nabi Kareem sallallahu alayhi wa sallam say that when one enters the house and says, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim, shaitan says to his comrades, his minions, he says to them, there's no place for you to rest tonight. You're not welcome. Meaning he was trying to enter with us, but because we said Bismillah, we kicked him out. And there's no place for him. Which means when we enter the house, we start with dhikr. Not with headache. Oh man, I'm home now. It was okay at work. Now I'm home. No. No headaches, inshallah. Take a pill before you get home. You'll be okay. Right, so you enter the house, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. And inshallah, shaitan will be kept out of the house. The fifth one, which is a very important one, is mashwara. Because if you don't do mashwara, see what happens to you. You start making decisions on your own, brothers and also sisters, then you see what happens to you. So mushawara is very important. Allah said to Nabi Kareem sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, وَشَاوِرْهُمْ فِي الْأَمْرِ. Consult them in important matters. If this was Nabi Kareem sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, who's divinely guided by Allah, and Allah is still commanding him and instructing him to make mushawara with his sahaba, then who are we? Many of us think we know it all. But the reality is that when we have another perspective and another opinion, something else opens up in front of our eyes. Something we didn't anticipate, something we didn't foresee. So it's important that we consult our spouses and make mushawara with them. This will, inshallah, maintain happiness in the home. Try it, inshallah. And the last one is akhlaq. Now, akhlaq is important for many reasons. First and foremost, because we have to treat each other ethically with morals and good conduct. But at the same time, if we behave with akhlaq, then it rubs off on our children. And our children learn more from what they see. So if we talk to them about telling the truth, and then we speak lies to each other, they'll catch us out. Children are very sharp. If we tell them, hey, salah is very important, and then we're watching our favorite soccer game, or we're watching a sports game, and we think it's okay to relax salah on this occasion because you're watching a final, you're watching the World Cup final with England, they're going to be there, inshallah, right? So, hey, you guys laugh. In America, you're not even in the competition. You have no right to laugh. So, I just needed to say that somehow. I needed to get it in there. Okay, so, I'm just saying, if you're watching your favorite game, you're watching a sports final, it doesn't mean that we can relax salah on that occasion. Okay? So then we're teaching a negative lesson to our children that it's okay to relax salah. So that is why akhlaq is very important. So these are 6 things that we mentioned. What's the first one? Understanding rights. Number 2? Oh, only one brother's listening, mashallah. Understanding rights. Number 2? Salah. Number 3? Environment. Islamic environment. Number 4? Keep shaitan out. Number 5? Mashwara. Number 6? Akhlaq. We pray that Allah gives us all the tawfiq, inshallah, to follow these instructions. Jazakumullah khairan.